All right, let's get into it. Today, we are putting on our detective hats to solve a really common business mystery. We're going to look at how you can take a chaotic box of receipts, a bunch of incomplete notes, and turn it all into a crystal clear set of financial reports. So, be honest, does this look familiar? For so many small business owners, freelancers, this is reality. Your financial records might just feel like this jumbled mess, totally impossible to sort out. But what if I told you that inside all that chaos are the clues you need to solve the case? Our investigation starts right here, at what we'll call the scene of the crime, incomplete records. Now, this happens when your financial info just doesn't tell the whole story. And that is a huge problem, because without the full picture, you're pretty much flying blind. You can't even be sure if you're making a profit or not. And the main culprit behind all this chaos? It's usually a single entry system. Think of it like a simple diary for your cash. Money comes in, money goes out. The problem is, it doesn't capture the full story. Stuff like sales you made on credit or bills you haven't paid yet. It's like a detective trying to solve a case with only half the clues. This right here breaks it down perfectly. On the left, you've got that single entry system. It's an incomplete story, a diary. But on the right, that's the ideal, the double entry system. It's a perfectly balanced ledger that tells the full story of every single transaction. Our job today is to take the clues from that diary on the left and basically reconstruct the full story on the right. So where does any good detective start? Well, with the most obvious clue, right? And in our case, that's figuring out the change in the company's net worth over the year. It's a quick and, let's say, dirty way to get a solid lead on our mystery. The core idea here is really simple. Your business's net worth is just what you own, your assets, minus what you owe, your liabilities. So if your net worth went up over the year, hey, chances are you made a profit. If it went down, well, you probably made a loss. Now, to get a more accurate number, we've got to follow these 4 steps. First, we figure out the change in what's called capital. Then, and this is important, we adjust for 2 things. Any money the owner took out for personal use, we call those drawings, and any new money they put in. These adjustments are absolutely crucial because they change the business's value, but they aren't actually part of its profit or loss from operations. This gives us our first real piece of evidence. Let's look at a quick example. We see here the business's net assets, its capital. It grew from $200,000 to $265,000. That's a $65,000 increase. And boom, this is our first major clue. The business's value went up, which strongly suggests it was profitable. But, and this is a big but, this single number doesn't tell us how or why. And for that, we have to launch a full investigation. This first clue is great, it gets us started, but it's just not enough. A bank, an investor, or heck, even you as the owner, you need more detail than just one single number. And in fact, just calculating the profit this way often isn't considered satisfactory at all. To get a real understanding of what's going on, you need a full statement of income. All those stakeholders, they need to see exactly where the money came from and where it went. So to get that level of detail, we have to dig a whole lot deeper. Okay, so how do we find all those missing details? Well, it's time to open up our detective's toolkit. We're going to use some pretty clever accounting techniques to find the figures that are just missing from our records and piece together that full, complete story. We have 2 main tools in our kit. First, the cash and bank summary. You can think of this as dusting for fingerprints on every single dollar. And second, we have control accounts. Now, this is our secret weapon. This is the bit of forensic accounting that can crack the case wide open. So what on earth is a control account? Well, it's basically a summary account that lets us work backwards. It's a clever trick. If you know how much your customers owed you at the start of the year, how much they owed you at the end, and how much cash they actually paid you, you can figure out the one missing piece of the puzzle, your total sales. And that right there is the million-dollar question, isn't it? In so many cases of incomplete records, you might have a good idea of the cash you received, but you have no clean, single number for your total sales made on credit. So how do you find that massive missing number? You solve it like this. The sales ledger control account lets you plug in all the numbers you do know to find the one that you don't. So we started with customers owing us about $1 million. We know they paid us $9.5 million, and at the end of the year, they still owed us about $1.25 million. The only number that makes this whole equation work is 9.7 million in credit sales. And just like that, we've found our biggest missing figure. Case cracked. So once we've used our tools to find all the key missing numbers, sales, purchases, expenses, you name it, we can finally put all the pieces together and present our findings. The mystery is officially solved. And here it is, the first part of our final report, the statement of profit or loss. You can see our hard-won sales figure sitting right there at the top. After we subtract all the costs and all the expenses, we have our final verified net profit of over 1.7 million. And see, this isn't just a single number, it's a detailed story of the business's performance for the entire year. And here's the second part, the statement of financial position. This is like a perfect snapshot of the company's health on the very last day of the year. It clearly lists out everything the business owns, everything it owes, and its resulting net worth. But here's the best part. This is where the entire story connects. The starting capital, plus that big net profit we just found, adjusted for any money the owner took in or out, it all adds up perfectly to this final net worth. We've gone from a few vague clues to a complete, balanced picture. No more mystery, just pure, organized financial fact. So, we've seen how to turn a box of pure chaos into total clarity. These techniques aren't magic. They're just a logical process of deduction. It just goes to prove that no matter how messy the books seem, the numbers are never truly missing. They're just waiting for a good detective to come along and find them. So, what mysteries are waiting to be solved in your books?